Good evening and welcome back to Night Talk Unwind with Teddy. On a Friday night, look at the background. I like this one because it's looking over what appears to be a skyline, water. It's winter, it's snowing. There's a cozy fireplace, nice music, and you. Plus talk, mind games. Analyze this at Unwind with Teddy. Shout out to the mob. All my other bears, I call the grizzlies. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes talking about mind games, what they are, why it happens sometimes. But make no mistake, mind games are a form of psychological manipulation. I've talked about psychological manipulation before. Have I talked about mind games directly? I really can't say that I have. But specifically, mind games are used or employed to cause confusion, control, or influence someone's thoughts or behavior. Have you ever thought to yourself that someone's playing a mind game or trick on you? Mhm. And before you realize it, you've been influenced by what you think of something or how you react or behave. It can happen. And that's why it's a mind game. It's control. And what often happens, and I've been well aware of this, is it can leave you feeling disoriented. Like, you're trying to get your footing. It's like what is happening? Or second guessing yourself or questioning your reality. And so when someone plays mind games through another person, it's a tactic designed to add, let's just say, another layer of confusion and emotional turmoil. Yes. So, again, if it's just one person, it's already psychological manipulation. But you add on another individual, then it causes even more disoriented thoughts. And here's why. It's not just casual. You need to understand that or think about that. It's not just a casual act of manipulation, not at all. No. It's calculated. It's a calculated strategy, in fact, to gain control over someone else. And it involves We've heard these terms before. I've mentioned them. Gaslighting, making you doubt your own memory or perception or judgment. Again, like second guessing. Then there's something called triangulation. That's the bringing of a third party into a conflict to create division or make you feel isolated or even amplify the confusion. Projection. Accusing you of behaviors or intentions they are guilty of themselves. There's a lot of projection that's going on right now. Deflection, shifting the blame, changing the subject to avoid that word accountability. Anything to avoid that. Again, tactics. They can be subtle. Most of the time, that's what they are. Because that's what mind games are. You don't even realize sometimes that you've been manipulated or part of the strategy to confuse until you know it. Yeah. Things done to, let's say, make you question what's real, which can be incredibly destabilizing, like disorienting. Same thing. Why do people play mind games? Why? Because they want to dominate the situation and control. I keep mentioning, the word control. I talk about it often. Control how you respond. Power and control. That's why people play mind games. Domination. You may not think this, but people who play mind games, sometimes it's because they feel inadequate. And they use manipulation to level the playing field or tilt it in their own favor. Yeah, really deep within, they're lacking. Why do they play mind games? Why? Avoidance. I've talked about that before. Avoidance of responsibility, so that these mind games allow them to escape accountability. Again, they do it by confusing the narrative. It's always the narrative. Confusion. Why do people play mind games? Sometimes it's because of jealousy or envy. Like when someone perceives you as a threat or feels jealous, they may resort to manipulation simply to diminish your confidence or credibility. Mhm. That is huge. Diminish your confidence. Because when a person lacks confidence and others see that, and they themselves can feel that way, it will diminish you. It can and often does impact your credibility as well. Because if you're not confident, how can you come across really as credible? Whatever the case might be. Why do people play mind games? I keep asking that question, and I've asked it before. Revenge? Sometimes. Yes. Sometimes people use mind games to get back at you for perceived wrongs, even if you've done nothing. They just perceive you've done something wrong. And again, it gets back to that second guessing and questioning what? You doubt, like you go back in your memory. You try, you look for answers when in fact, you've done nothing. It's a mind game. And it can go deep too. It can. Back to that third party triangulation. So when someone manipulates through a third party, it complicates things, the dynamics. Again, it plants doubt. They may, for example, they may tell someone else things about you that aren't true, knowing that it will eventually get back to you. Mhm. Yes. Have you seen that happen before? Someone telling someone else things about you that aren't true, and they know that purposefully it's done so that it can eventually get back to you. Or they use others as their own messengers, sending their messages through a third party. This is done often. Because what it allows is for them to avoid direct confrontation while still creating emotional chaos. And on this platform, we have agents of chaos. That's all they do, is create emotional chaos. How do mind games work through others, these third parties? It can be done to turn people against you. What happens when people are turned against you? It's a tactic done to isolate you. That is a tactic that has been used. Definitely been used. I've experienced that. And when that happens, it makes it harder to trust others. And easier for them to maintain control. Again, that guessing and trust and all of these things done to manipulate. Ultimately, it's a mind game. And they are working through others in order to achieve their own goal. It's not that they care about the third party. They are used themselves as a means to an end. They're part of this mind game. It's always a goal, always an aim to create a situation where you feel, again, alienated or misunderstood, furthering their manipulation. Should I pause just for a moment? Let me check the chat because sometimes I just want to keep, going when I'm thinking. But let me just take a break just for a quick moment. Let me check the chat. If you are just now joining me, I'm Teddy, and you are listening to Night Talk. I'm live right now on Instagram, X, Facebook, and here on YouTube. I said I just wanted to take a few moments. It won't take long to, make some points about mind games. Because mind games, again, are designed to throw a person balance off, like out of kilter. Have you ever felt like that? And you don't know why? And you suspect others might be involved, be part of that. Like you're being pulled in a direction against, you can actually feel the pull. Mind games. How do you recognize the signs? Sometimes we blow right by the signs. Sometimes the sign is, right there, but we don't see it. We don't stop to read the sign. We think we know, or we don't know what we don't know. That's what happens quite often. But it's important to try to identify when someone is deliberately, trying to manipulate you through mind games. So, what do you look for? Inconsistency, inconsistent narratives. So when the story keeps changing or doesn't add up. Third party confusion, when others seem to have misunderstandings about you that don't align with reality. Emotional reactions. If you find yourself frequently feeling frustrated, confused, or doubting yourself after interacting with them, I'm talking about the individual or individuals that are using mind games, that's one of the signs. Frustration, confusion, doubting yourself. Other signs. Here's a really big sign. When your relationships with others start to deteriorate because of things they've said or done. So, know the signs, even when we blow right through them. Recognize for what it is. Sometimes we don't want to recognize signs or denying what is right there in front of us or questioning it. That's part of the mind game. So that you question it. But know the signs. How do you respond? How have I responded to mind games over time? I've grown. There are times, however, that require, even for me, just to remind myself, you're being pulled in a certain direction. It's a game. Trying to remain focused, clear, confident, setting boundaries so that you can either stay on track or, if you've gotten off track, regain control. So remind yourself of what you know to be true. That's what I do. What do I know to be true? Even if you have to write it down, even if you have to document events or even your own feelings, try to refuse to play by their rules. maintain composure and avoid reacting emotionally. It's hard. It's easy to say. It's harder to do. But if a person sets boundaries, and here's the key, clearly communicate what you will and won't tolerate. And if they cross the line, distance yourself. Set boundaries. And you know what? It's okay to confront calmly. So if you feel comfortable, yeah, for some people, they need to address their behavior directly. But keep it aligned with the facts, not emotions. You've seen some of these panels. I've dealt with different people over my lifetime. I don't think in my lifetime I have dealt with the type of people, I know I haven't, that at least the personalities up front that I've dealt with, like I have here on YouTube or social media. It's really not a pretty picture at all. Again, keep in mind what I've said about these mind games. To isolate, it's a tactic, to get others thinking about a specific narrative. It's done intentionally. There have been words used, phrases used, directives made. Deliberate. Avoid this channel or avoid this or that. Again, it's all designed to put forward a narrative. Sometimes, especially, here on a platform like YouTube or social media, people want to share experiences. But I'm learning on a platform, social media, these aren't your family. And often, more so than not, there's a lot of infighting and backbiting. And what's so egregious about it, a lot of it's coming from quote unquote, some of these people are supposed to be professionals. I call them professional bullies. But I'm going to remain focused on the facts, even if there's a third party involved. And clearly, there have always been, from the very beginning, third party involvement. So when you see the signs, don't let them drag you into their manipulative narrative. It's one thing to have that experience between you and someone else, but then to be manipulated or trying to drawn in by a third party, it's just, again, like I said, it's simply to cause chaos and confusion and to add another layer. By the way, just to put more perspective around this, understand that mind games, they're often about the manipulator than you. Yeah. They're more about the manipulator than you. They reflect their insecurities, their fears, their need for control. It's hard to do, but when you think of it that way, it can help depersonalize the situation. That's right. Mm-hmm. So that's how sometimes, you can partition things and people say, well, don't take it personally. Again, it's because it's the manipulator. They have insecurities or troubled past or this need to control. Don't blame yourself. Yeah. It's a mind game. It's a mind game. So once you recognize it, once I recognize it, recognize it for what it is. Because if you can do that, it's then that you can begin to disarm it. I refuse to let someone else dictate my emotions or control my relationships or any of that through their own manipulation. I stand on that. I refuse, even when it seems like it's going on. I still refuse. Why do people say, trust your instincts? I think one of the reasons is because your instincts are always there. But do you trust your instinct? Because we always go back. It's like learning, from your mistakes, or, you always have to go back. And what do a lot of people say? If I would have only trust my instinct. Over time, do some of these tactics affect me or you in the same way that they have in the past? Not when you know what you know. It's like you can become immune from these tactics, and slowly, if they have any power over you, it will fade. Bye bye. Yeah, mind games. So now let me look at the chat, see what you think, see if you can. You don't even have to mention it, but just think of some of the things that I've said and how you can apply it to your own. Are you being manipulated? Yeah. Vicky Black says focus. It is that time. It's time to focus like it's never been before. Yeah. It is. Day by day, just focus. And this period between Thanksgiving and New Year's, really the holiday season began today. With all of the hustle and bustle, and people are traveling and anticipating arriving and enjoying their families. Carry patience with you, especially if you are at the airports. They're reporting even already longer lines. And one of the reasons is, a lot of kids are out of school, out of college, taking breaks. It's short break. It's not like they're long break, but yeah, and traveling. How difficult must it be for the families who have lost, loved ones, especially if it was tragic. Yeah, a lot of pain during this time of the season or year. Yeah. When I started Unwind with Teddy, I did want it to be, and still want it to be, a place where my listeners, my audience can come and feel safe. What has happened is others have infiltrated, masquerading, and they've, kind of faded in and slipped through unrecognizable. Some of these traits and or mind games have been played and are being played. Boss faces, yes, Vicky Black. When I know what I know to be true. Mhm. And even, like I said, even when these mind games can be played, even when you've done nothing wrong. Mhm. So, little music. There's so much backstabbing. Yes. It's so ugly. It's so ugly. It's cruel. I don't see how people live with themselves, knowing, full well knowing that what they are doing is designed to cause chaos, confusion, and lying. It's so much deceit. Wow. It's 10:44. Time goes by so quick. It does. It seems like it. Mhm. It does. So, I just wanted to share that. It was on my mind. Speaking of mind, I just called it mind games. Sometimes I can, come on and I can talk about something and it goes pretty well. And sometimes even I can feel a sense when it's not hitting the way I want it to. Yeah, mind games. All right. Hey, Gia, Vicky, and Baby Juju. Makeup Diva Curls. I'm just going through the list shouting everybody out. Love wins. You love the background. Yeah, I do. Thank you. I try to pick, backgrounds that I myself would like to be there. Yeah. I love cozy. I do. I love that setting. It's, yeah. As a matter of fact, along the Detroit River and divided between Windsor side, it kind of feels a little like that. I mean, there are many, many apartments and condominiums now, right on the riverfront, there's a lot of building. And as a matter of fact, the walk has been cleared. I mean, they've been connecting all the way from downtown, all the way out to Belle Isle. You can bike, and they've really done such a great job, as quiet as it's kept. It seemed like it happened overnight, but it really didn't. It was years in the making. Years in the making. And now it's really here. For those of you who ever visited Detroit, if you go downtown now, there are places that are literally unrecognizable. I was at the Fox Theater, and I just stood and was looking, like there's a parking deck, and I hadn't been down in that area in some time. And so I stood and I looked down and I said, look, there's Google that's right there in the midst of, it looks like it even feels different. The businesses and shops that have come, really, it's nice. Yeah. All right. Yes, follow me on all social media. It's really important. And station head. I mentioned that I don't come on as often. I could come on every day. I should be on now. But sometimes if I'm playing this music in the background, I don't want to play music and be on station head and go back and forth. But I can play from their playlist, which is everything. Yeah. So please follow me on Station Head, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Discord, and right here on YouTube. And subscribe. What is this? Oh, Gia says, Teddy, I've stayed in one of the Four Seasons residences, and it had almost the same setup. So cozy. Yeah. I'm good though. Yeah, I am. So, that's really it for me. Let me check my email. I can play a song or two. I've been playing this morning. I played, some holiday music, Christmas music, which I like, and it's that time. It really is that time of the season. A lot of houses are decorated. When I was driving through, coming back home tonight, it's just very, very nice. All right, so give me a moment. I'm going to check my email. I'll be right back. All right, so we have come almost to the end of the broadcast. Actually, we are at the end of the broadcast. So let me say biggest bear hugs go out to each of the Grizzlies. Join me over the weekend if you like. I do plan to come on sometime tomorrow. Can't tell you what time, uh, if I will be broadcasting in the morning. It might be, can't say just yet, okay? But I do plan to come on tomorrow sometime. So you can join me. Keep your bear phones on and look for any notification. Also, some of you are not receiving your notifications. So, I don't know. Unsubscribe, resubscribe. Make sure all notifications are turned on. Yeah. Mind games. Analyze this at Unwind with Teddy. That's it for me tonight. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.